Support for Mission Nonprofit is provided by Thurston Talk.
This program is provided in the public interest by Thurston Community Media. More information at tcmedia.org.
The ASHHO Cultural Community Center in Tumwater is a place to build bridges and create relationships. Learn more about them on this edition of Mission Nonprofit. ASHHO Cultural Community Center is a hub for events, training, sharing meals, inspirational speaking, community groups, and workforce development. Their unique structure includes a nonprofit arm and a social purpose for-profit corporation. Joining me today to share more about this unique organization and their work is the founder, Kershita Begum. Welcome to Mission Nonprofit. So glad to have you. It's been a while since you and I have seen each other. We've met before,
yes,
but not in this particular arena. So. Tell us about ASHHO, how its history, how it got started. It is this very unique structure in our nonprofit world. And you are well known in our community for doing all the kinds of work that you're doing at ASHHO. So fill us in.
Sure. ASHHO, my niece and I actually founded it back in 2008, just a little history of it. And we're both, I was born in Bangladesh, and our roots are from Bangladesh, and so we were thinking of, well, what do we want to do? Because we wanted to talk about hidden community issues, silenced community issues, like domestic violence, like human trafficking. And so we started renting the Lacey Community Center, and we needed a name. We came up with ASHHO, which in Bengali means to come join. Like, you're literally asking people to come join. You're not demanding, you're not commanding. We're like, ASHHO, like, come join. And then we're like, well, everybody has acronyms, in the business world, and you have to have an acronym. So we're like, well, what does ASHHO stand for? And the very thing that we wanted to talk about, these silence issues, community issues, we thought that ASHHO, advocating, serving, honoring humanity, and organizing for change. That's how we were going to operate all of our educational community events at the Lacey Community Center. And so it's kind of evolved from 2008. Obviously, my niece is not with me anymore, but she's always going to be that founder person. I wanted to be with people and create impact through people in conversation, and food was the binding secret. And she wanted to do more of political policy work from up there. So it's fine. We're doing great work together, great work in the world together. But so I've had the long dream of having a place where people belong, and particularly people that are from marginalized communities, people that are from Black and brown, refugee, immigrant, outsiders. Like, where do we go? Where do we belong? Especially in Washington State. And so it was a long dream of mine, but I never thought it was going to happen during the pandemic. Didn't think it was going to be in Tumwater, the former Pellegrino's Catering and Event Center. And so during the pandemic is when it kind of started. We started donating food. The Pellegrinos weren't going to be there anymore, and they really mentored me. Great, kind, very generous people. So I've been there, just did over 8,000 meals and donations for the community folks, cultural hot meals. And then it evolved. I was like, this is the place where this cultural community center and job training center was supposed to happen. And just pursued it. What you don't know is that I don't come from restaurant work. I don't come from catering work. I never went to a chef school. And I just knew that I needed to feed people because soup kitchens, everything was closed. And that kind of led me into cooking a lot. I mean, I always cook for family, but it's like, what is one basic human need that we can contribute during the pandemic? And that was food. I had a car, I had a little bit of money, I had gas, I could go get food and prepare in my kitchen. And so that led me to the Pellegrino's Catering and Event Center. And from there, that's all I did was like trying to figure out how do we do catering and event center. at that time, we were thinking that it was going to be a job training center. We were going to get all this funding, okay? That this place and this city and this place and this place was going to be so excited about what we were doing and the job training and workforce and this opportunities and elevating our community. And it was like middle towards end of the pandemic. There wasn't a lot of money just sitting around and nobody knew what was really happening. So we had to figure out really quickly how to generate revenue. And that's where the for-profit piece came. And so we just did catering, focus on catering and room rental and keeping our doors open while working on the dream of having a job training, having educational programs. And so we have a for-profit that generates revenue from our catering and event center, which while we don't have any government funding and things like that, or you're waiting and waiting and waiting, we can't just wait. People can't just wait. Their life don't stop because we don't have funding. So we, the for-profit supports our nonprofit work. Right. And I don't have to worry about all this reporting stuff because our for-profit, and we have to shift the way we do things. We can be a for-profit company and not be these greedy people that just want money, money, money. We can make money, we can make profit and do really good work, impactful work, philanthropy work, you know?
And that's where that social purpose concept comes in. So there's this arm of your organization whose purpose is to generate money, to generate revenue,
so we can
feed people, and then that money supports the good work of the nonprofit.
Yeah. I mean, we've been waiting for workforce development funding since 2022. Oh, you're going to get this money. Here we are, 2024. You know, if I did not know how to generate and figure out really quickly, we would not have been there. That's the truth. That's the truth. So I always encourage people, there's nothing wrong with making money as long as you're making profit and you're thinking about people and you're still doing humanitarian work where you care about people and you care about your community.
So you're making money in order to do work that matters.
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and I enjoy both. Like I really love the impactful work, but it's also like being a for-profit, we are still very intentional, and there's no like two separate types of work. It's the common good from both parts.
It's a very unique structure. So what percentage of the overall is the nonprofit?
I would say 75% is our for-profit piece, and it intersects with now going into our third year. We got the systems, we got the intention down, the impact down for how we want to do catering and events, what it's going to feel like. And then now going into our third year, we hope to be able to get our job training program into 2025. So it's like, hey, how do we open this Soul Cafe? And we're not a restaurant, like we're not trying to, but how do we open this cafe that's going to give folks who have barriers to employment to work at our cafe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that it's a mutual feeling of belonging and connecting, whether you have barriers to employment or you're coming in as a community member. You could come from this income or this income, but that it's a mutual experience and a positive one.
So let's focus on the nonprofit piece now, and the kinds of programs and services that the nonprofit, with the generous support of the other, what the kinds of things that they do in the community.
Yeah, our nonprofit, we have 4 areas of focus. And our 4 areas of focus, our first one, we've pretty much mastered after donating and distributing over 8,400 meals now since the pandemic. So community feeding is one of the programs that we're like, okay, we've gotten great. We got a system for that. Community and healing. Our community's hurting. They need access to mental health. They need healing tools and resources. So we did that for about 1.5 years with Dr. Bree, where anybody in the community can come in and get work on letting go of their traumas, moving forward, having tools and resources on how to deal with mental health stuff, you know? And then our next piece was cultural celebrations, which we do Juneteenth, we do Asian Pacific Islander, we do Bengali night, we do Eid, we do Baha'i New Year's. There's all different types of faith and cultural celebrations that we do that bring people together. And then our last piece that I'm working on right now is our educational piece. And the educational piece, you know, it could be workshop, it could be Ramadan lunch and learn, or, you know, different types of things. But our main focus right now, going into 2025, is our culinary hospitality job training program. And we're gonna start with adults 18 and older, and then we'll move into, once we have done 2 or 3 cohorts, then we can move into working with youth in entrepreneurship in their culinary programs.
So tell me about the program. What would somebody coming into that program experience?
Well, right now we're doing hiring. So it's really working, having deep, meaningful relationship, trustworthy relationships with our community partners. We are not trying to be a one-stop and shop that we provide and can do everything, because we don't. What we're gonna shine in with folks who have barriers to employment is creating that belonging through their program, unpacking traumas in a place where they can be their authentic self, bring their whole self, and having community partners, meaning that if it's interfaith that does housing, you know, if it's someone that provides shelter, if it's transportation, if it's food, if it's medical, that we have these trustworthy relationships with community partners. And for us, we want to be able to get them through 12 to 14 weeks with our culinary hospitality job training program, that if these participants, and we're expecting to take like 10 to 15 participants per cohort, that they can say, yes, I need a job right now, and I need to work in food establishment, because that's the quickest and easiest and most demanding. It could also be someone who's super, super talented, gifted, but has never explored the idea or even considered themselves to work for themselves and have a business and what that looks like. It could be someone that's like, I just love working independently and I love doing cleaning and custodian work, you know, and we're partnering with schools and higher eds to get folks. So jobs, you know.
How many folks in a cohort?
10 to 15.
10 to 15 in a cohort.
Yeah, and it's gonna be 12 weeks. And then there can be an extension for folks who are wanting to pursue their, you know, like business, or they want to open a barber shop, and we're, you know, we have community partners who are going to work and mentor and they job shadow. Because I think the thing with right now, there's a lot of people that are hurting, and there's a lot of people after the pandemic are just like, what am I doing? Or there's a lot of folks who have, you know, especially from our marginalized communities, there's a lot of trauma. And we need to be reminded again that we have a community, that we belong. And so I take pride in saying that we are by and for. If we're talking about serving survivors of domestic violence or survivors of human trafficking, we are by and for. There is folks on my team who have survived and are at another place. And so we want people to see representation to be able to apply it to themselves. Like, I can have a business, or I can do this. Yeah.
So when people come into this 12-week training program, is there?
It will be a referral based from our trustworthy community relationship. So if it's family education and support services, or if it's family support center or safe place, I'm just naming these local ones that I hope to partner with. You know, we have our criteria. We'll interview the folks. We're not just taking anybody and everybody. Like, you got to be serious.
That's
you got to want to do it. You got to be sober and clean for a certain period of time, and that you're serious about this next part. You know, we're not going to waste 12 weeks and all this money. And I hope my success ratio is at a 90%.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
So talk about the curriculum. And from what I'm hearing, though, and correct me if I'm not, that people can come into your training program and they can move down a path that's most appropriate for them.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
They can be empowered enough to say that, hey, that they have options.
So I want to learn this, whereas somebody else may want to learn. Like, I may want to learn.
You can learn, but it's not so much, I just want to do this. It's like, hey, you want to have your own business. Do you understand the time, the discipline? Here's some folks that you can job shadow from our cultural bazaar or this community partner to say, because we can say we want to do things all day, no matter who it is. But do you understand all the things that go with it?
Right.
So there can be tiers, and it's based off of again, how well they do in their
Right.
12 weeks. Are they serious? Were they consistent? Did they really give it all they had to get to that next place?
So you're going to be taking referrals from partner agencies. Do you have partners in place now that you're currently working with?
Well, we're basically right now, 3 years ago, that's all we focused on was like hiring people in the program, and then we didn't get funding. So I had to shift again to this other part. And so now we're back to square one again and, wiping off the dust and, moving forward. So our focus right now is really making sure that all our systems are in place, that when we hire folks, they understand the intentionality of this place, because if somebody's just looking for a job, it might not be a good
Right,
fit.
right.
You got to come with intention and purpose that you're adding to this
Right,
work.
right.
So yes, people will be referred to us, and we can also have folks in our community that can say, hey, maybe there's a few things that we check off to see, hey, do they qualify for this? But we're going to really be deepening our relationships again with our community partners, which we already have.
When do you anticipate your first cohort?
2025.
In 2025. So next year.
Yeah.
Next year,
Yep.
the cohorts will start.
Yep.
Great. And they're 12 weeks. So you intend to run them year long? Year round?
There'll be 3 cohorts.
Okay.
Yeah. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is classroom, PTSD, trauma, unpack this, professional development. Those are the 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are our days for that, classroom time. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the hands-on culinary,
Work
custodian,
experience.
customer service, professional. Yeah.
The professional development. Great. So you have a resource fair coming up in September.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
We have our cultural resource fairs. We were doing them every month with the cultural bazaar, and then we were like, oh my gosh, no. So our resource fair is local community partners that are doing in-person support and direct service work. So we've had Village Vans, Interfaith, and we were doing it at the Cultural Community Center. And then I decided a few months ago, well, we're in Tumwater. Transportation is not the greatest. We are not in a place where there's a population of folks who need these resources that are there. So it was great for them to connect. So now we've moved to Hidden Creek Community Church on Wednesdays from 9 to 1. And so that way there's already established 10-year tenure, meaning 10 years of them providing food, Thurston County food and, food like that. So now people can, come and get their food, and then they can get their cultural hot food as well to go, because we donate it. And then they go and talk to the different resources that are there. And it doesn't have to be about people necessarily needing that direct service. It's also about our community members being vigilant in knowing what is out there instead of waiting for some traumatic thing and catastrophic thing to happen to try to figure out. It's like, no, we should be knowing those things. That's how we become more and better humanitarians for our community.
And more resilient.
Yeah.
And more resilient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So what kinds of resources are available at the fair? At the resource fair?
It's different community partners. There's Wild Grief, there's Village Vans, there's Together, Safe Place, Family Education and Support Services. There's lots of different things. We hope to, get some barbers out there. We hope to be able to have more hygiene products and clothes out there, blankets out there for, to do it before it's actually just wintertime. So we're going to evolve our resource fair into other services as well that we can provide for communities,
So obviously, I know from running a nonprofit that you can't do it by yourself. No. So you have volunteers and staff that work with you?
We have a really mighty, powerful team. Just because we've been focusing on generating revenue from our for-profit piece, we haven't done so much that we have this whole list of volunteers, but we are looking for volunteers, especially when we do our resource fair or other things. now that we're kind of getting out of that survival mode into thriving mode and sustaining, those kinds of things can take time and, be able to build out. But I oversee all the nonprofit organization, the board, all of that. And then my husband, my beloved husband, who I love very, very much, and I love working with him. We've been married 11 years, never get tired of him. He oversees all of the for-profit piece, the catering and events, on-site, off-site. So we work together, and then we're like, when we have a job training, obviously he has the kitchen crew, and our people will have to work with them. So we intersect. We're not completely like over here, so.
So how would people find information about opportunities?
Well, right now we're hiring for kitchen support and other things, project manager, program manager, interim CFO. How can they hear about it? Well, we hope to be having job fair. We hope to get it out more. Like I said, we don't want to just put a job posting up and that's it. So they can go on our website once we get that on our website in some other avenues. So we haven't really put up all our efforts for marketing and recruiting yet. But and now people know, and we're always like, it might not be right now is the time, but if it's good people, it will happen when it's supposed to happen.
Right. So what is your website address?
www.ashho.org, ASHHO.
Two H's, one S.
Yeah. The honor humanity and O is for organizing.
Great.
Yeah.
.org. So you're a nonprofit, so obviously you depend on the generosity of the community. Can people make donations at your website?
Yes, they can.
Great.
We're asking, really our goal with donations is we really want to be able to have so many meals in the bank where people have paid it forward through our buy one, give one, and pay it forward program that we want people to sign up monthly. If it's feeding one person monthly for $15, or maybe they have an abundance and they want to make sure that 5 people get fed a month. So that's kind of our focus. Or there can be people that are like, hey, I want to donate because I trust and believe and have experienced the impactful work that you're doing. So whatever you need it for, if it's for operations, if it's for this program, we appreciate that too. But our
those operating dollars are important.
Huh?
Those operating dollars are important.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So have we missed anything? We're kind of coming up to the end of the show here. I know it goes fast. Have we missed anything? Is there anything you'd like to add?
I just, we're very intentional about the place, and we really welcome everybody to come and experience the center so they can feel like they belong just the way they are. Try our food, try the hospitality that our staff, the volunteers, give to people. It doesn't matter what your background is, we want people to come. So this coming Saturday, we're inviting anybody to come and do Walk Against Racism and Walk with Erin Jones from 11 to 1. And we do that every first Saturday.
So the first Saturday every month, it's the Walk Against Racism.
Yeah, we say Walk with Erin Jones, but it's also really to show Tumwater in the community, like, hey, we can exist here too, because people are like, you're in Tumwater? Why are you in Tumwater? Why can't we? Why can't we be in Tumwater, right? It's a beautiful building, beautiful place, and the vibe is great. It doesn't matter who you are. And then we also have a self-defense thing that we're going to be hosting, and these folks are coming from Hawaii. It's for family friendly. We have family game night. So I just ask people, go on our website, stop by. But first Saturdays are always Walk with Erin. This one is second Saturday because she was traveling. Our community and healing workshops will start up again in the fall. And so we really try to operate with where people have an abundance that they can pay it forward so that we can provide services and resources and support and belonging to folks from all walks of life for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking time for joining us
course.
today on Mission Nonprofit. I know you're a busy woman. I've watched you in the community for a long, long time. Nonprofit organizations in our community advocate for marginalized people. They help care for our neighbors and children. They inform and educate us and enrich our lives with arts and performances and help keep our communities safe and healthy. Join us again next month when we introduce you to the important work of another great local organization right here on Mission Nonprofit. I'm Deborah Vinsel, and for all of us here at Thurston Community Media, thank you for watching.